One aspect of the cyberpunk genre I've yet to really touch on is the music. We've covered the style, context and filmmakers of the genre, but never really the music. Which is wild because without the sound of Tetsuo or Rubber's Lover, they wouldn't achieve the experience they do. Beyond even the Japanese work, films like Terminator, Blade Runner, The Matrix and many more all rely on the music as a foundational aspect of their world-building approach. Now, one thing I love about this channel and the videos I've made so far, and the content I've released, is the people I meet as a result. I've discovered so many talented people, and one of those people introduced me to a vibrant underground culture of music that recreates the very sound and feeling of cyberpunk cinema, cult movies and horror synths. A world of heavy industrial, digital music that is alive and well as we speak. So I thought, what better way to take a look at this music than interviewing the man himself. Hi, my name's Rob and welcome to my channel where I explore the wonders of East Asian cinema. Today, Microchip Terror. Before we start the interview, if you want to hear his music and see what he is up to, check out the links below. Also, the film that I mentioned and we mentioned later on has now got a trailer release, so I'm going to put that in the link below as well, as we shot this interview quite a while ago, but I've only just got time to edit it. Anyway, on with the interview, and I hope you guys enjoy it, and please check out his music, follow all the links that he's on, and I hope you enjoy the interview. The first question I obviously want to ask you is just, how did you even get started in music? Like, just take me right back to the start, like very first ever musical project you did or instrument you learned, just where it all began.
Wow. Okay. I'm sure you're a Blink-182 fan like me.
Yeah, we've already discussed that.
That's where it started. So like in high school, this is 2001. I was introduced by a friend who just bought Take Off Your Pants and Jacket, the CD.
Oh.
And when I heard that, I'm like, fuck, I want to play a guitar. Yeah, I wanna be like Tom DeLonge and rock out and run on the beach naked. So yeah, so the first instrument I picked up was the guitar, obviously, and I taught myself to play with guitar tabs online. So like websites like ultimateguitar.com, mxtabs.com, that was the thing back then for like all of us. So yeah, Blink-182, 2001, Take Off Your Pants and Jacket got me to want to play music.
So how does it go from Blink-182 to what you're doing now? Because now it's very it's quite like digitally driven, synths, that kind of thing. Obviously, like it's like, I'd say, I don't know if you agree, but it's kind of like a more aggressive sound.
So like after like when I learned guitar and all that, like naturally I got a few friends and we started a punk rock band playing punk rock covers, Blink-182, Green Day, Ramones, Misfits and
all
whatnot. So like yeah, all the power chords and stuff. And we were like 13, 14 years old. And after that, like I started getting introduced to like metal music, Iron Maiden, Metallica, Slayer, and all that. So from punk rock music, I kind of moved on to play metal music. So like I'm still playing guitar at the time, and eventually I became a bass player for a metal band. So my first metal band, I was a bassist. So I became a bassist for my first metal band, and after that, got introduced to more extreme music like death metal, black metal, grindcore, and joined another band which is more extreme, a death metal band eventually. So like you can see like how as the years go by, my musical taste kind of like evolved and became more extreme as well. So I was in the death metal band for like 6 or 7 years until everyone has to get a job. We are no longer in college. We graduated. In Singapore, we had to serve the army. So all that, after that, we had to get a job after the army. And our priorities were all just, all over the place. And we can't sustain being in a band anymore. And but I still want to do music. And I realized that I can do music on my own. That's when I discovered like there's people making music in their bedrooms, and they're making electronic music. And like aggressive electronic music. So
Yeah.
like sci-fi horror soundtrack inspired electronic music. That's kind of the scene that I got into, and
Yeah,
most of
because
these people are just online.
it's really cool because like saying that obviously you were in like a death metal band and that kind of thing, and it seems like you went. I think everyone who kind of gets into just rock music in general goes down that path of like constantly
Yeah,
looking for the next heavier thing. Whereas
yeah,
like
yeah,
you,
yeah.
and then you
That's
get
right.
to a point where you go, okay, that's too much, and then you find where you're happy. But yeah, you
Mm,
even though it's like digital music, it's still got like a rock element to it. Like it's quite
yeah, yeah.
like I
I
feel like
often, I often classify myself as like a rock metal guy trying to pretend to be like a electronic music producer. So yeah, so my sensibilities with my composition are very like rock and metal driven because that's where I came from, and that's my roots. And I still love like listening to death metal, punk rock, and all that stuff.
yeah. So yeah, because
Mm.
I can still hear it. Like it's right, which is one of the reasons why I like your music because I'm still not. I wouldn't say I'm like particularly into like digital music, but there's enough
Mm.
in that kind of like the rhythms that you're using for like someone who's into like heavy stuff to like latch onto. Do you know what I mean? Like that kind of like
Yeah.
driving drum sound and stuff. But
Mm.
obviously, you touched on the fact that you have that kind of like sci-fi horror, definitely like that cyberpunk thing going on, like
Mm.
in the sound
Yep.
as well as visually. Was that something like you knew you wanted to do? Was it like conscious? Like, okay,
Mm.
I'm gonna try and mix these two, or did it happen naturally?
Okay. So like the electronic music scene that I got into, they were most of the producers. They are all like huge fans of like 80s sci-fi horror, basically the whole 80s movie thing. So like most of them are like fanboys of John Carpenter, Terminator, and all the 80s sci-fi
Yeah, yeah,
stuff. So naturally, like they were inspired by those soundtracks, and they took inspiration from um, 80s electronic music and sci-fi horror soundtracks, and kind of make their own sound. So that's kind of what I was drawn to because I love movies as well, and I
yeah,
want to make music. So it was kind of like a logical step for me to fuse like cinema and music for my project. So
yeah.
basically things that I love, and try to make my own sound with these elements.
Is there any kind of like specific, like you mentioned John Carpenter, and I know
Mm,
like yeah, his music work on his films is like already like
mm.
amazing. I know that's like predominantly what he does now, isn't it? Just tours his music
Yeah,
and stuff.
yeah,
I
yeah.
think it's with his sons as well, isn't it? Which is pretty cool.
Yeah, Cody
Uh,
Carpenter. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, yeah. But
yeah.
is there any kind of like because I feel like you kind of draw upon like slightly more niche cinema, like
Mm.
Tetsuo and stuff like that. Is there any kind of like specific films where you're like, that's the sound I want to do? Like, do you know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah. So, like with a scene, there's always something called like oversaturation.
Mm,
So,
yeah,
like, there will be one person doing this 80s sci-fi horror Terminator sound, and you get hundreds of people doing the same thing in their bedrooms.
yeah,
So I realized this is a problem. I don't want to be 101th person to do that sound.
yeah,
And that's when I realized, okay, I still want to do sci-fi horror music, but I don't want to be like making music that's coming from the same influences. It's gonna be just another similar band. So I realized that not I don't think anyone made music that's abrasive and disgusting and ugly in that particular scene. So I realized maybe I can, try and do something in the spirit of Tetsuo, the Iron Man, and the Japanese cyberpunk movement,
yeah,
and try and make my own interpretation musically with that genre as an inspiration. So
yeah,
that's where I started to move on because my first EP was like films based on Terminator, Tron, and Aliens. That's still kind of mainstream. So my first full length album, Illegal Experiments, that's when I started injecting the Japanese cyberpunk stuff. So realizing that not a lot of people did that, I want to, try and do my own take. I can't make Japanese cyberpunk films, so I'm gonna try and make Japanese cyberpunk influenced music. Yeah, that's how my thought process came about.
You can hear it a lot because like the main thing with Tetsuo is like I think like the music in that film is a character itself. Like the way it's just like thumping away in the background. And, like the first thing when I heard your music was like it just feels like a scene from like Tetsuo. Do you know what I mean? Like, and then obviously like your album artworks as well. Like it's cyberpunk all over it. Do you know what I mean? And I didn't realize until you posted on social media as well that I always thought it was just like photoshopped. The album artwork. Like obviously I knew like to some extent there's a real guy there. But when there's those behind the scenes, like how fun has it been doing like this music project and being able to do like that album artwork when you did like the live set, just like messing around with editing and like having that kind of branching out into all mediums and exploring like the kind of genre that you love through the music. Like how fun is it to do those shoots and stuff?
Well, yeah, that was really fun. Like I think I finished the album cover before I finished any music. So that was kind of like an unusual approach. Like most people would just finish the album before like thinking about the artwork. But for me, I just felt like I want to do the artwork first because that gives me a direction as to where the song would go. So I have the idea in my mind. I just sketch, when I was bored at work. And and I really like admire people who does those practical effects and prop stuff. So I try to imitate and try to channel that kind of DIY art and craft spirit. And and I used to work in a IT department, and I get a lot of tech junk, tons of microchips and broken parts. So I brought it home, see what I can do with it, and that was the result of the
That's very cool. That's cool though that you did the album artwork first, because then that's kind of like that's almost like the visuals came first in a way, which I think is very cool.
Yeah,
a lot of, like,
I think
and stuff, like soundtrack comes second. That's very cool.
Right. Yeah, I guess it's kind of unusual, but for me, it was to set the theme. At least I have something to work with. If not, it's gonna be all over the place. It's gonna be pretty messy for me. So having the theme set and having the artwork, and I feel very therapeutic working on the artwork because it's something different from like making the music, which is kind of stressful sometimes. Yeah, that's why I did the fun part first before suffering through the production.
What's it actually like sat there listening to? Because when we're hearing the hour-long album, and some of the songs obviously are there to make you feel uncomfortable. But what's that like? Editing those, sitting there with like thumping drums for what I imagine is days and days of editing. Like surely that takes a toll on your spirit after a while.
I think after that album I got pretty burnt out. That's why it took me 3 years to release the sequel album. So I just learned to take breaks and take it easy. Go for a walk. Don't be so fixated on perfecting every single thing. That's the double-edged sword with DIY solo projects. You have your computer is right there. You can always go and fiddle, tweak something, and then you go back and tweak it again and again. It's gonna be an endless tweak fest. So I recognize that was a problem, and I tried not to do that these days.
Do you feel now you've got like a better balance? You kind of when something's done instead of like working on it too long.
I think I kind of got a healthier approach these days.
Do you think, because obviously if you used to be in bands and stuff, do you think there's like an element that's harder not having other people to bounce off, like only being the only person, or is it also like easier because there's not maybe like musical differences between like members?
There is always sometimes I do miss like jamming with friends and all that, but I remember like how challenging it was to work with people sometimes that are not on the same wavelength or not on the same level of commitment as you.
Yeah.
And the fact that I have 100% creative freedom with what I'm doing now, I'm like, fuck that. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna stick with this.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's yeah. I'm too old for that shit to be, like having members that are not like 100% on board with playing in the band. So yeah.
I think as well, like you said, like obviously people have like other commitments and stuff now, so it's at least I'm assuming it's perfect being able to fit around your own schedule, work with doing it when you want to do it and stuff.
Right, yeah.
But obviously I know you put on social media recently, I don't know how much you can say about, but like working on a film score kind of thing that you've been doing. Is that kind of always been like maybe the end goal for this project, kind of work, use your music for films, like visual things, or was that just something that has kind of happened to just come about? Was that always your end goal, or what was the idea of this like project?
So like when I first started this in 2016, right? I always have this idea like, oh, I was interested in scoring sci-fi horror films, but I didn't know like who to ask or who would want me to score a film. So eventually that direction became making like heavy dance music. That soundtrack thing kind of got put aside, which is okay. Like, I mean, I can't be doing just one sound. I have, I can do like different styles.
Yeah.
So I can always be flexible because with the computer you can pretty much do anything you want. So the film that I'm scoring now, I'm sure you know who that guy is. It's Guy Pearce, who did Rope Maiden and Difficulty Breathing.
Yeah.
He has a new film that's gonna be released this year, and yep, I'm scoring the film.
So how's that been? Is that like kind of, does it feel natural to do that? Have you had to change your approach to doing music? How different has it been to work on some like visuals of a film as opposed to just doing your own musical stuff?
Oh, it was a pretty refreshing experience. Like, this is my first time scoring a film. I would say that it's very I have a lot of space to play around with the sounds. I don't have to be sticking to like a 4/4 beat. I can like be very free flow with my sounds. So I would use what I used in my own music and see where I can fit in those sounds. And at the same time, I come up with new sounds or like to suit like a particular scene and all that. So yeah, it's a pretty nice, refreshing experience to score a movie.
Is there kind of like a slightly different like pressure, if that makes sense? Because like we were saying, how like you obviously like you enjoy the music you do now because it's just you, but then going to do a film, it's kind of like you're trying to benefit someone else's work. Do you know what I mean? It's not exactly what you want anymore. So is there kind of like a different pressure that comes with it?
So far it's okay. We work pretty well. We bounce ideas off each other really nice. We just send
both
progress.
are on like the same wavelength, like into the same.
I'm
assuming like you're not going to produce anything where it's going to be like that's totally wrong. Like
Like the great thing is like we are into the same film genre and good friends and it worked pretty well. Everything just worked nicely. Like I like his work and using his scenes for me to experiment on my own also benefits me and also the movie in the end. So yeah, everything was great. No pressure. I actually find it very therapeutic when I was working on the score.
Yeah, that sounds very good. I can't wait to hear it and watch it, which will be.
I think you will love it. It's pretty sick. Yeah. But in a fun way.
Yeah, I expect it to be. So I think my final question would be, if then you enjoy doing movie scores so much and your music has always been kind of like inspired by film and that, if any director, alive or dead, asked you to do a score, who would you want it to be?
Wow.
Not for a specific film or anything, but just a specific director.
if Shinya Tsukamoto is gonna make another Tetsuo movie, wow, I would be honored if he asked me.
So you're the guy.
Maybe, yeah, because I mean Shuei Ishikawa unfortunately has passed on. So yeah, if maybe the fourth Tetsuo film.
So that's what we got to do.
Yeah.
Get you out there. We got hope for a fourth Tetsuo film. That's what we got hope for.
Yeah. And have you heard anything about that? Like, is he planning to make
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think he went and did the one in America, didn't he? And then that kind of
yeah.
But I know that he's working on a film at the moment, or is
nice.
They did a casting call, but I think it's a post-war set film.
Oh, okay. He's so working like in more of period films nowadays.
Yeah, I think kind of. I'm assuming if it's like post-war, it's I don't know. It'll be I don't know what that would entail, but I'm assuming kind of maybe similar to Fires on the Plain or something like that.
Oh yes, I have not seen that one yet. I have to watch that.
It's it's a good film. It's weird. He's a kind of a different filmmaker than he used to be.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I understand that. Yeah,
I feel like Gemini kind of felt like the transition, and then he kind of went into a different style of filmmaking. But
right. It's like Sogo Ishii. He can't do that crazy Thunder Road Burst City thing anymore. I mean, he did the Electric Dragon, but felt like that was the thing. Like, okay, this is my last punk output, and that's it. I'm not gonna do that anymore. So
it just felt like him kind of being like, I'm done with this now. Here's one of my best films I'll ever make. That's it.
Yeah. Well, imagine Electric Dragon was released like in the 80s. That would have been pretty cool.
That's the thing. You watch it and you're like, kind of could have been. But you know what I mean? The way it looks and everything, like it's so good. Yeah. It just fits in with those films so well. But
yeah.
So if
I hope they give a Blu-ray release for that.
There's so many films. I know that apparently it's a lot of his films are pretty hard to get on Blu-ray because of the rights, because he worked with a lot of studios. Yeah. Whereas Shinya Tsukamoto just does more independent. It's quite easy.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he got his own rights and all that.
He just keeps hold of it, yeah. So So if you can do any, it would be Shinya Tsukamoto, new Iron Man film. That's or maybe if Shozen Fukui decides to do like another Japanese cyberpunk film. Yeah, why not?
He's
busy running his bar now. He hasn't got time to make films.
Interestingly, I met Guy in Shozen Fukui's bar. So like, how did the whole thing happen? Like,
it's like a perfect blending of everything all coming together at
once. There's a pretty cool story about it. Like, when I found out about like Shozen Fukui and like Rubber Lover and all that, I went to YouTube and all that, and I found Guy's channel, and he did like a video on Shozen's bar, and like, wow, he has a bar. I should visit him. And then that's when I got in contact with Guy and blah blah blah. And then cut to 2018. I told Guy, hey, I'm coming to Japan. You want to go and meet Shozen Fukui? They said, yeah, let's go. I'm actually going down this Friday, and wow, everything just came together nicely. And yeah, that's how I met Shozen and Guy in Shozen Fukui's bar.
Now you're doing a music for him for one of his films.
Yeah.
All come around.
That's how. Yeah, that was really cool. Like if I look at the big picture, everything came together really nicely. Yeah. I think Shozen Fukui is focusing more on live performances. Like before COVID, he was doing like a lot of VJ video experimentation stuff with noise musicians. So he will be using footages of his movies like 964 Pinocchio, Rubber Lover, and he will manipulate them and like putting glitch and all that effects. And in complementary with a noise project that's live. That was the thing that he was very active in for the last few years.
Because his films always felt like they're like amazing, but they would never get the recognition that they deserve because they're just too far. Like Tetsuo is like approachable, but like Rubber's Lover is just like it doesn't even feel like a film. Like it's kind of like just assaulting you through the whole experience.
It's like Oh, I love that film, and like the first time I watched it, like, oh, what the hell? Like I thought Tetsuo was crazy, Ramen
Yeah,
Lover is also crazy.
it just ramps it up to another level. His own
Yeah,
beast.
yeah.
Yeah, if he came back to films, then
Yeah.
hopefully we'd choose you as the person
I
to do
hope
the
so.
music.
Yeah, I hope to visit him again because Japan is still closed for traveling. So yeah, hopefully Japan opens this year and
Yeah,
I'm
no,
gonna meet Guy.
yeah, they've been in lockdown for quite a while, which is a shame. But
Yeah.
I guess it's still a problem. But if there was one kind of closing thing, uh, if people should go and listen to one song, one album, what's the one thing you'd want people to check out of yours that you think sums up what you do the most?
Okay. Probably my latest full-length album, Illegal Experiments 2. I often describe it as if Illegal Experiments 1 is Terminator, this is my Terminator 2. So it's better production and better songwriting. And I don't think I can write that kind of music anymore. So yeah, that's my probably my best effort so far.
So
Yeah, because
that's
my
what
next
you're most proud
album,
of.
my next album is gonna be more stripped down and less is more kind of direction.
Oh,
So it
cool,
will
yeah.
be a bit different. Yeah,
So how far are you in the process of that, or is that still in the early
I
stages?
yeah still early stages. I just released a single called Eraser. That's gonna be on the next
Yeah.
album, but I'm not sure when I'm gonna finish the whole thing. So that song is kind of like a peek to where the direction is going, more minimal, dark, and but not crazy, aggressive, hyperkinetic.
So
Yeah,
do
like
you feel like you've
previous.
got that kind of like era out of your like system now?
Yeah, it felt like, making the two albums burnt me out, but it also exercised some of the demons within me. So yeah, it was necessary. But yeah.
So what you're saying is now
So,
you're going to make happy music.
no. It's not happy music. Still dark, but not so busy sounding and more minimal. Yeah.
That's cool. Do you think doing the score and stuff has changed kind of your approach as well?
Maybe. Like I realize sometimes we don't need to put too many elements when I make music. Like I'm going with the less is more approach for my next album. So yeah, maybe scoring the film kind of gave me new ideas and approaches for my future music.
That's cool.
Yep.
So Illegal Experiments 2 is the one. That's what people should check out. That sums you up for now, anyway.
Yep.
As you're changing, but for now, that sums you up.
Yeah, that's the one that I really burned myself out. And I think it's gonna be on vinyl this year. I just got a test press a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I saw that.
And if everything goes well, hopefully they will release end of this year or this year.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. Yeah, because it's I feel like music like yours with the artwork and stuff like that, it deserves to be like physical. You want to hold the artwork, not just have it on your screen, which is cool.
Yeah.
But that would be really cool. Well, thank you very much for coming on, and I hope
people
watching it will check out your music, because I know that anyone who likes the films that we like and watches my channel will like your music.
Yeah, I love your channel, man. Yeah, I want to give a shout out to Asuka Lin for making AI Mama. That's how I found your channel, by the way.
It's an amazing film. It's on YouTube.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah. So I'm gonna start like spamming my friends. Go watch this.
I already, even before it was out, I was telling all my friends to watch it, and then they were like following her to get the links of when it'd be at a festival online and stuff.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to what she's gonna make. I think she's doing a new film about like a sea turtle or something like that.
I saw that animatronic thing. That was really cool. Wasn't
it? Yeah.
Well, maybe you should have. You should have said if there was a filmmaker you want to make music for, you should have said that. You missed out on an opportunity.
It's okay. I'll just be on the side admiring her work.
But yeah, thank you very much for coming on. And then
hey, thanks, Robert.
I hope you guys enjoyed that interview. Again, go check out his music, check out all the links below. He does some really great work, and if you do enjoy the soundscapes of Tetsuo or cyberpunk music or 80s horror music, then check him out and you'll probably find something you really enjoy. Anyway guys, thanks for watching and I'll see you guys next time.